And then there were two. Congratulations to Esperance de Tunis. Congratulations to Al Ahly, the two clubs that we'll be seeing at the 2024 CAF Champions League final. Hard luck, unlucky to TP Mazembe and Mamelodi Sundowns, the teams that were eliminated. Let's talk about all of that action that happened tonight, and there was a lot of it. Rain delays, goals, VAR controversy. It was nonstop. And we're going to talk about it all here on this episode of the African Five-A-Side podcast. Hello and welcome. My name is Maher Mizahi. I'm your host. And as always, this podcast is brought to you by the very, very, very good folks over at africascountry.com. So let's begin with Mamelodi Sundowns versus Esperance de Tunis. Remember, coming into this match, as it's the second leg of the semifinal, Esperance had a 1-0 lead. They won 1-0 in Tunis, if you recall. Jan Sass, the Brazilian, scored a goal. And despite Mamelodi Sundowns having the lion's share of possession, and I think even having a few more shots on target, and we were kind of expecting the same thing to materialize. If you go back and watch the previous episodes, we kind of were expecting Sundowns to monopolize possession, multiply the number of passing lines, stretch teams vertically, play the balls, between the lines, and try to break down the opposing block, the very detailed, compact, concise, difficult, rigid, low to middle block that Esperance de Tunis were going to play. And that's pretty much how it unfolded. And coming into this match, Mamelodi Sundowns had never lost a knockout stage match at Loftus in Pretoria. And sure enough, what do you know? They end up losing 1-0 in Pretoria tonight to Esperance de Tunis, 2-0 on aggregate, and they're going home. So yeah, like I said, Mamelodi Sundowns, they were, it's traditional Mamelodi Sundowns. They're getting the fullbacks up the pitch. They're playing, their midfield box. They're multiplying the passing lanes vertically. And what Esperance did was, watch how narrowly they defended. If you have a chance to go back and watch this game, if Mamelodi Sundowns, let's say Kuliso Mudau has the ball on the wing, all of Esperance de Tunis' players are on this side of the pitch. They were never wide enough to create, those half spaces or to concede those half spaces to Mamelodi Sundowns, who can very much hurt you if you give their technical, creative players any kind of space in the final third of the pitch. And so they were doing a good job of forcing Sundowns to play the ball wide to Lunga, the left back, to Mudau, the right back. And whenever those players did get the ball, I wrote down in my notes, in the first, I believe, 13 minutes, there were two crosses, one from each of those players. And each time there were no less than 7 Esperance de Tunis players in the box. So not only were they outnumbering the Mamelodi Sundowns players in the box, I think it was Peter Shalulile. I think it was just Peter Shalulile, not even Lucas Ribeiro. He doesn't like to get in the box. And that's the thing. Not only were they outnumbering them, but the Esperance de Tunis defenders, they like aerial duels. They like that aspect of football. You don't get the impression that Mamelodi Sundowns have a striker that likes attacking the ball in the air. Or that excels at it, or like getting up in the air and elbowing central defenders and being nasty in the sort of Diego Costa mold, or even I don't know, Erling Haaland or Darwin Núñez. No, and so Esperance de Tunis really had a really perfect game plan. Other than that, there wasn't much to speak about before the lightning came down. Lots of thunderstorms over Pretoria. The match was interrupted for over an hour. So I saw people on Twitter give credit to the Sundowns fans that they stayed, for an over an hour interruption. I agree. Very, very good of Sundowns fans to do that. I was thinking about mentally, what does this do to both sides? Because if you have a 1 hour break where you don't even know if you're going to go back on the pitch again that evening, you don't know when you're going to go back on the pitch. Is there a team that's going to come out fresher? Is there a team that's going to do things differently? Is there a team that's going to, where this pause is going to benefit either one of the sides? And to be honest, I didn't really notice a big difference from either side. The one thing I would say is that I thought Sundowns were a little more dangerous after that 1 hour off, but they were more dangerous in a very direct route one style of play. So for example, a big chance came from Peter Shalulile, I think it was a free kick. It got cleared, and then the ball eventually, it was like, the volleyball kind of boom, boom, boom. It finds its way to Lucas Ribeiro on one side of the pitch, who one time cross over, and if Peter Chalule is by himself at the penalty spot, maybe even closer than the penalty spot, and he heads the ball straight at Amanullah Memish in the middle of the goal, who tips the ball over. And it's one of those where if Peter Chalule heads the ball down to either side of the goalkeeper, it's a guaranteed goal. I'm not even sure if he was offside. I don't believe it was called offside. I don't know if VAR would have taken a look on that. It was marginal. I think he was onside, but it was a bad miss from Peter Chalule, and we expect more from him again in very, very big occasions like the semifinals of the CAF Champions League. Remember, last year against Wydad Casablanca, not only do Sundowns concede on two very avoidable errors, an own goal and a goalkeeping error from Ryan Williams, but Peter Chalulili missed a sitter for Sundowns to sort of score and get past Wydad Casablanca and make it into the final. And so for him to miss one in the first half, and we're going to talk about another one that he misses in the second half where he doesn't even hit the target. I was sort of advocating for Chalulili to be starting for Mamelodi Sundowns, but is he past his prime? Is he too old? Is it over for him? He doesn't look sharp at all in front of goal, and that's really his strength, is finishing chances in front of goal. Anyways, the other chance came from a Marcelo Allende sort of diagonal ball that lands inside of the 6-yard box and nearly made contact with Sundowns attacker. But it wasn't really Sundowns, it wasn't that tiki-taka, playing triangles, matriculating the ball up the pitch, boom, 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 1-2s, and no, it was very route one, long, direct, diagonals. It was more Stoke City than Mamelodi Sundowns, I would say. So we get to halftime, very choppy first half, and you're thinking, okay, Sundowns don't look like they're going to score. That's what I was thinking. I was very much confident in my prediction that Esperance were going to advance by scoring a goal, and I don't think Sundowns were going to score 3 goals. And at halftime, I think Miguel Cardozo, who we have to give a lot of props to, we have to take our hat off to. He coached a very, very good game defensively, tactically, and he made a really good substitution at half. So he brings on El Aib, a central midfielder, for Hissam Tqa, another central midfielder, like substitution. I don't understand that one. Maybe there's an injury to Tqa. Maybe El Aib is just a taller player. He's thinking, aerial duels, maybe scoring on set pieces. I don't know. The other one, though, is he brings on Raed Bouchniba, who's a right back, for Jan Sass, the Brazilian left-footed magician that scored the goal in the first leg, that Rolani Mokoena said, I've never seen Jan Sass defend like that before in the first leg. So he knew that he was a defensive liability, and I'm sure that's why, maybe he started Maseko on the left. I'm sure he was probably targeting Jan Sass and betting on him not to come back and defend. So I think it was a good substitution by Cardozo to realize, hey, it's 0-0. Even if they score 1 goal, we're still in it. Let's make sure we're solid defensively. And he doubles up. So 2 right backs. You have Ben Ali as a real right back and Raed Bouchniba taking the place of a right winger, deputizing as a right winger, but he's actually a right back. So a few minutes later, Raed Bouchniba opens the scoring. And what a way to score. It's a goal kick. Amanullah Memish, the goalkeeper, the 20-year-old goalkeeper who had another fantastic game, hits a long goal kick. And they're an Esperance player and a Sundowns player go up. I think it was Rodrigo Rodriguez. They go up and they're fighting for it, but I don't think anybody touches it. And there's 3 touches. Goalkeeper, there's like a few aerial duels, but nobody touches the ball. And then Rodrigo Rodriguez finally gets on the ball, and Bouchniba is all alone. He slots the ball to Bouchniba, and Bouchniba hits it one time across the face of the goal. Ronald Williams, in my opinion, probably could have done better. Maybe could have gotten some kind of contact to it, but it was a tough shot to sort of stop. And just like that, Esperance de Tunis have scored a goal. The dagger. 3 touches. From your own goal kick, 3 touches, and they score a goal. And this is what drives me crazy about football idealists. I don't want to kick a dog while he's down. I've been, in my opinion, too critical of Mokoena on this channel throughout this year. Again, I love the guy. I was lucky enough to interview the guy. He was very gracious enough to give me 30 minutes of his time for Al Jazeera English. I think what he's doing is revolutionary on the African continent. I'm so proud to see like a young African coach do what he does and the way he does it. But my question was always about the intangibles. My questions were always about, you know, does he know how to win? I know he knows how to coach teams to have more possession of the ball, but does he know how to manipulate the little intricacies of football and convert that into winning football matches? Because what's the point of instituting a very sophisticated pressing system, probably the most sophisticated one on the continent, where you're stifling teams when they have possession of the ball? You're doing a great job defensively, for 90% of the match. What's the point of instituting that kind of pressing system and then conceding a goal like that? All your hard work is undone in literally a snap of a finger. What's the point of keeping, ball possession for 70% of the match and not having any real big goal scoring opportunities, or again, conceding a goal like that? So it's one of those where, you see Bielsa, you see Sampaoli, they're kind of criticized for that as well. It's football idealism versus football realism. And I think Mokoena has everything that it takes to become a top coach in world football. But I just want to see more realism from him and from Mamelodi Sundowns. In their third of the pitch and in the final third of the pitch, Mamelodi Sundowns were not good enough throughout the CAF Champions League. In their own third of the pitch, defending, like the goal they conceded today, and in the other final third of the pitch where they missed sitters, or they never really looked like they were going to score. Mamelodi Sundowns need to improve, whether that's investing in a real deadly striker, whether that's changing your style of play to make sure you don't make mental lapses behind. Something needs to change, in my opinion, if Sundowns want to start consistently winning Champions League titles. Anyways, so yeah, Peter Shalulili misses another sitter after Sundowns scores a goal. He turns the defender beautifully. I think he turns Yassine Merih beautifully. And as he's turning, he sort of swings his left leg around, doesn't get the ball on target, blasts it over the crossbar. Amanullah Mamish, the Esperance Tunis goalkeeper, starts wasting time. He wastes 5 minutes in the 60th minute. Between the 60th and the 70th minute, he wastes 5 minutes. Another player wastes 2 minutes taking a throw in. And there's only 8 minutes added on. And I was just paying attention between those 10 minutes. And there's only 8 minutes added on after the match. He takes a yellow card. But again, those are the little things needed sometimes to win, And even, when Aubrey Modiba hits a beautiful strike and it clings off the post, I never really felt like Mamelodi Sundowns were going to score. It's just what I had in my heart. I never felt like they were going to score. There is a silver lining for the Brazilians. It's that they've qualified for the Club World Cup, the 2025 Club World Cup, because, spoiler alert, Al Ahly beat TP Mazembe. And it doesn't feel like a silver lining right now, but I do think it's going to be something that, they're going to be happy with, in a few months' time. And I'm so happy that Sundowns are going to be able to show their brand of football to the world. I think it's important that, African representatives, we can show, that like, this is an African team that plays advanced tactics, that can outplay you, that can play more attractive football than the South Americans, than the Europeans. I'm very, very excited to see how they do there. But yeah, need to be better in the final thirds of the pitch in terms of efficiency. Congratulations to Esperance Tunis, a very Italian performance, if I can say that. And now they've proven that they can nullify their opponent's strengths, and I think that's a big, big warning shot to Al Ahly. Now let's talk about Al Ahly versus Mazembe. That's a match that was 0-0 on aggregate coming into this one, and so it was a tricky one because if Mazembe scores a goal, Al Ahly needs 2. So we kind of said Al Ahly needs at least 2 goals because Mazembe creates opportunities. And thankfully, because of the lightning break, I got to watch a little bit of this match. And the first thing I'm going to say is, wow, Cairo International Stadium. That felt good to see Cairo International Stadium like that. It was a pinch of nostalgia. I was like, wow, are we back? It's such a pleasure seeing that kind of atmosphere, seeing the Ahlawi fill that stadium, their spiritual home. We haven't really seen it like that, maybe just like in a few matches here and there since the mid-2000s. And it's not what it was in the mid-2000s, but it felt good. It felt right. Anyways, coming into this match, we said one of the keys really for Al Ahly was to exploit the wide spaces, get the ball into the middle, and then maybe back out into the wide spaces. But that kind of wide spaces into the center part of the pitch is really what was going to win the match for them, and that's exactly what happened. Al Ahly did a fantastic job of crossing the ball in or getting down the byline and crossing the ball as a cutback onto on-running runners. Um, so yeah, we saw that early with Ali Ma'loul getting down the wing, cutting the ball back to Amr Suleya. He shoots the ball straight at Ali Fati, who put in a good save. We saw players like Percy Tau and Ahmed Abdul Qadir who had Ahmed Abdul Qadir, I kind of underestimated him. Very, very fast, very good dribbler. I was impressed by his performance. But did a really good job of getting behind the line of Tipe Mazembe, exploiting those spaces between the center back and the full back. Really, really good job there. Al Ahly even threatened from a corner kick. I think it was Percy Tau put it in. I think it was Ahmed Abdul Qadir that got a head on it. And I thought it hit the post, the crossbar, but it's actually Ali Fati that got a hand and tipped it over. Mazembe did have their chances. And I thought they did a good job in the first half of, taking things slowly, hanging onto the ball when they could, creating a few opportunities. I don't remember if it was the first half or the beginning of the second half, but Oscar Cabwit, the 18-year-old left winger, who I was impressed with, especially in the quarterfinals of this competition. He gets on the end of a corner kick, I believe, and it's Akram Toufiq who clears the ball off the line, goal line clearance, and that could have been easily 1-0 to Mazembe, and that would have made things much more complicated for Al Ahly. And at halftime, I'm looking at this 0-0, and I'm thinking, Mazembe are doing a decent job. I think they can do this for another 45 minutes. I think they can get this match to penalty shootouts. And if they do, who knows what happens, right? Aliou Fati is a huge goalkeeper, the Senegalese guy, and he had a great first half. And Mazembe start wasting time in the beginning of the second half. Fati, like Amanullah Memish from Esperance, he goes down and he's pretending he's injured. And it gets to the point where I switch the channel and I go back to the Esperance match. And then I get a notification that Mazembe scored. So I flip back and I see that it's a set piece, I believe. Rami Rabia clears the ball with his head. Straight to Philippe Kinzumbi, cuts the ball onto his right foot. Beautiful pinpoint bullet cross to Joel Beya, heads the ball past Mustafa Shubir, and TP Mazembe take a 1-0 lead against Al Ahly. And it's one of those where I thought, wow, there's nothing wrong with that goal. And then VAR, and you're thinking, no. I said no. I said it twice in that match. No. What could have gone wrong here? And then you see the replay, and you see that when Rami Rabia headed the ball, I forget which Mazembe player it was. I think it's Joel Beya, the guy that scored the goal. His arm was in an unnatural position, and because of the deflection, it hits his arm, and it goes straight to Kinzumbi. And so, if it wasn't for that deflection, the ball doesn't go straight to Kinzumbi, And Kinzumbi very quickly crosses the ball, and Rami Rabia is out of position because he headed that ball. And Joel Beya is alone because of that deflection with the hand. So it's one of those where I think, it's really harsh. But at the same time, if the ball doesn't touch his hand, that goal doesn't happen. So I think it's the right decision. It's very, very harsh on Mazembe, but I think it's the right decision. Anyways, it would have been a great goal because Joel Beya, as I mentioned, he's from Lubumbashi. TP Mazembe are his boyhood club, and for him to score that goal in Cairo International Stadium, that would have been a storybook ending sort of. But anyways, you're thinking Ahly have to wake up now. That was a warning shot, and they do. The Red Devils do. They continue that danger from the wings. Mohamed Hani to Percy Tau. Percy Tau cuts in, beautiful curling effort. Aliou Fati again denies him, fingertip save. The ball hits the post and rolls back to the goalkeeper, and you're thinking, ooh, Aliou Fati is going to be difficult to beat today. The young Senegalese goalkeeper from Casa Sport, from the lower Casamance region of Senegal. He's very talented. He came into Mazembe, as I think the third goalkeeper. They had Ibrahim Nkoro from Mali, who started at the 2021 AFCON. Very, very good goalkeeper. You're thinking, where'd this guy come from? And he's tall. And you're thinking, wow, maybe he's the one that's going to help Mazembe get to the final. And just as you say that, I say no for the second time. No! And Mohamed Abdel Mun'im off of a corner kick. heads the ball straight into Fati's hands, and he just butterfingers. It just slips through. He literally and figuratively lets it slip through his fingers. Mazembe's chances and the ball. And you feel really bad for Aliou Fati, but at the same time, Mohamed Abdel Mun'im, time and time and time again, he scores the winning goal in the CAF Champions League final last year. When things get tough, you need one player with a clutch gene to score an important goal. It's usually Mohamed Abdel Mun'im from a corner kick. He sometimes, it seems like it's almost too easy for him, and he can get bored and he can be a little bit complacent, and he doesn't play to the level that we know he can play at. But again, when things get tough, when you need a hero, he steps up time and time again. So again, hat tip to Mohamed Abdel Mun'im, beautiful. And the second goal that comes, again, from the wide angle, and it's a cross, and it's Ali Ma'loul. You can't give him that much time and space. He sees the space between the back line and Aliou Fati, the goalkeeper, plays a beautiful ball, to Wissam Abu Ali, the Palestinian striker, who is, making his own place, keeping Anthony Modeste, one of Europe's most efficient goal scorers over the last 5 years, maybe, out of the side. And a beautiful finish from the Palestinian. And that's a great story. I felt really good for Ali Ma'loul, because Ali Ma'loul, there are some rumors that this could be his last year for Al Ahly, and what 12 years on the African continent where he's been performing in these competitions at the very highest level with CS Sfaxien in Tunisia and with Al Ahly. And so I was happy for Ali Ma'loul, if this is his final season. I was really happy for Wissam Abu Ali, the Palestinian, with everything that's happening with the Palestinian people and the oppression that's happening in their home since the 8th of October, we can say. And he just felt good for those players, And then even the third goal, Akram Toufiq, great game, by the way. Goal line clearance, some of the passes he was playing in midfield. I remember watching him as a right back for Al Ahly and thinking he's a pretty damn good right back. But now we knew he could play in midfield. I felt like today was the day where he cemented, like, I'm back, with an almost man of the match performance. And for him to score that third goal after coming back, I meant to say, as he was playing really well as a right back, he got a horrible, horrible knee injury that kept him out for a long period of time. But it feels like, after 3 years, Akram Toufiq is really back. And with so many injuries that Al Ahly have in midfield, it was great to see him get a goal. And great to see some of those players come back, by the way, like Imam Ashur. So that's it, 3-0. I don't think there's any doubt about who deserved to win. Ahly showed why they're Al Ahly. They're record setters. 5 CAF Champions League finals in a row. Who else could have done that? Who else? I wonder sometimes if it even feels good to their supporters anymore, because you can get used to winning and you can get used to being the best of the best. So it's something I should ask some Al Ahly fans that I know. But congratulations to Al Ahly. I think Mazembe can really be proud of their campaign. They have a very young team. The coach Lamine Ndiaye is back for the first year at Mazembe. Mazembe, again, it's been almost a decade since they haven't competed at this level. So to have them back at this level with such a young squad, I think they can be very, very proud of their performance, and they can definitely build on it. They're just going to have to tighten up a few things. If Sundowns need to be more efficient in the final third, so do Mazembe. They really need to, when they have chances, score those chances and be more technical up front and less wasteful with those chances. So that's it. A very dramatic, very entertaining night of African football. Congratulations again to Al Ahly. Congratulations to Esperance Tunis. They'll be playing the CAF Champions League final May 18th in Tunis. I should be there. May 25th in Cairo for the second leg. I might be there. And congratulations. I know it doesn't feel great right now, but to Mamelodi Sundowns for making the Club World Cup. Again, I'm very, very happy that they did. And I think those 4 sides at the 2025 Club World Cup, Wydad Casablanca, Esperance Tunis, Sundowns, and Al Ahly, those are the most deserving sides, really, over the last decade. Nobody's more consistent in reaching these final 4 than those 4 clubs. So congratulations to them. Looking forward to what they can do, not this summer, but next summer. And we'll leave it there. Thanks for watching. Let me know what you thought about these matches. And yeah, exciting 2-3 weeks coming up where we're going to break down in detail this final between two North African clubs. Another derby on the cards. It's going to be good. All right, guys, take care. Peace.